stereotypes. Like when I first started stand-up comedy, I remember it used to hurt my feelings so bad because everyone knows me as this one thing. I'm like, yes, I did that, but I'm trying to do this. I'd be in the middle of my set and people would shout out, break down UFC. I'm like, man, come on, man. You used to hurt my feelings so bad for a long time.
You took direction very well, you know.
But you're talking years. I dealt with that for like 5 or 6 years. It wasn't until like the latter of my career, like the last 4 years, where it finally people stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, man. But then I was like, I get it. Yeah, it's not that they're shaming me. They're just, you know, that's
what they know.
I know. Yeah. It's nothing personal.
And it's probably complimentary from where they're coming from.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's not, but it's like that from where they're coming from, it is.
Yeah.
You know, the cool thing about watching you do that and transcend all that stuff is that you were an eager student that, you know what I mean? To watch you in that role of like, watching Bryan and watching Joe and like
you're amongst
being a real fucking student.
Yeah, I got put in the deep end.
It's cool.
And then it was a blessing and a curse because I had Bryan as my mentor and then Rogan. So you have, you know, two of the greats. Yeah.
And then him forcing you and going, go ahead and swim now. It's like throwing a puppy in the fucking water.
But it was also a blessing and a curse. Because the curse is people knew who I am. I can't go to an open mic and just work on my craft because because I'm hanging out with Bryan and Rogan and Joey Diaz and Bill Burr and Theo and Chris D'Elia. They expect me to be the same as them. It's like, those are my group of friends, but I'm not them. It's like them expecting Bryan to be good at fighting because he hangs out with me and Keith. Yeah. So I never got that kind of grace.
So true.
So that's why I worked so hard and took the UFC approach to it where I was like, all right, how many sets are you doing? 4? I'm gonna do 6. It was always that thing, like I'm gonna do more than these guys, so hopefully I can make up my 10,000 hours, half of what usually people do.
That's what we're all trying to do, and they're holding you accountable because if you're not doing the art justice, then they're gonna shit on you.
You're a fraud, yeah, exactly. Let's take a little break.
Everybody needs a director. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Meryl Streep, it doesn't matter. You need a director.
Every fighter needs a coach.
Yeah, you
Doesn't
can't
matter.
see what you're doing. And
I directed myself in my first
you
short.
can't, dude. You need a director. You need, that's why whenever I tell people and they go and they have auditions, I'm like, listen, motherfucker, you should be working with someone like me.
Yeah.
You work on an audition with me, I ask him, you know, I promise I will get you there. But if you think you can just go and read lines, fuck off. You can't.
You're not respecting.
Yeah, I can help you.
You're not going to be able to compete.
Find somebody like me who just really studied it. Yeah. Because I can help you. I can, doesn't matter. I'm sure you're just as good as anybody, but you need someone to kind of give you, you're too close to it.
Yeah.
To give you that when you walk in a room, you have to do the unorthodox choice. Yeah. And you have to come with a character. Because the problem is, if you don't come with the writer has something in mind. Yeah. When you come in there, like with The Hangover, he wrote it as a New York guy. I said to the director, I said, if he owns a wedding chapel in Vegas, he should be from Armenia, he should be from Lebanon. He's the guy who can get you anything. You know, I make very good price for you.
That's dope. Yeah.
And then they loved he started laughing immediately.
So funny.
Right? So
so your idea better be better than what the writer's original idea was.
Surprise the writer.
It ain't going to be what his is. That's a 1 in a million.
Yes. But when you solve that problem for the writer and the director, they want to be surprised.
It's also refreshing, right?
Yes.
Because everyone else is doing the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. When you get in there and you do something they don't expect. My friend got a huge part because of the way she listened. There was the scene and she was going, you know, and they were like, that's fucking, you know, the best part I ever got one time that they said, well, you're not good for the part because the guy's supposed to be 6'4", 235 pounds. And I said, yeah, I am. And they said, what do you mean? I go, tell them that I think I'm 6'4", 235. That's what I think of myself. When I walk in a room, I walk in like I'm 6'4", 235. That's why I feel comfortable around you monsters because I'm going to talk trash. And so when somebody my size comes in and they're acting like that, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Because it's different. It's like this guy's like, look at this guy. You know, it's like if you're 5'4" and dark haired, walk in and behave as though you're a Viking. Now I'm interested. That's what Al Pacino was so good at. Al Pacino, when he did a play called Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? And the role called for somebody 6'4" and blonde. And Al Pacino, all 4 feet fucking tall of Al Pacino, walked in and got the part because he played that motherfucker. When fucking Morgan Freeman, one of his first big roles, when he had to play a pimp and a dangerous motherfucker. And he walked up to the casting director and all he did was take a strand of her hair and he took it from her shoulder and put it behind her because it looked better. And he talked real slow. And they said, damn,
He's good.
You've done this before, for real. He hadn't, but he understood.
Or maybe he.
Or maybe he had.
maybe he
Certainly in
had.
his imagination, he had.
Yeah.
You know, or like a hitman. I got a big part one time because I couldn't figure out how to play this hitman. You know, I was thinking about. Then I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try something. So I went and I did the role, right? And he goes, "You're not right for the part, but what the fuck were you doing there?" And he ended up giving me a part later for his next TV show. But he goes, "What the fuck were you doing there?" And you know what I did? I said to him, I think if you're playing a hitman, you have a very precarious relationship with life and death. I mean, I don't think you can take a lot of human lives and just walk away from that. So I think that you're always a nose hair away from turning the gun on yourself. This time around, maybe you're not going to kill that person.
Schaub talking about stand-up comedy, he so misses it. He so misses the excuse to be able to go out on the road and get the addies and the baddies. Now, he got fired from stand-up, meaning he couldn't sell any tickets, so he had to stop. But it was a great way for him to get out there, slang some dick, and have the addies and baddies. Now, he still finds a way to get out there. Even though he quit stand-up, every once a month, he still has to fly to some other state or back to LA to go do something with his car channel that he drops no content on. And he probably still gets the addies and the baddies that way, but it still ain't the same thing as stand-up. And it's hard for him to follow his friends. I mean, hell, you think it's pathetic that he moved down to Texas to follow Bryan Callen. Could you imagine if he still did stand-up? He'd be like, "Yo, Callen, can I come with you to a gig?" Oh my God, Callen would have blew his brains out. And I bet that was some of the excuse Callen tried first using to get away from him, being like, "I'm concentrating more on my stand-up. I got a residency at Joe Rogan's comedy mothership, but you don't do stand-up anymore, so..." And Schaub was like, "Oh no, I'm moving down to LA anyway." But he just so misses doing stand-up. And I hate how the guys have to glaze him. "Oh, watching your process." Brendan Schaub did something amazing. He was always terrible and not funny at stand-up. But he got worse. He got his second special, the Gringo Poppy, is worse than the first special. You'd be surprised. It's worse. I don't know how that's possible, but it's possible. Now, I get like a comedian who has multiple specials. One might not be as good as the other, but if you do a special, then you do a second special, it's usually not worse. Especially when the first one was so god-awful. But yeah, he just misses stand-up so much. Wishes he was out there with his friends. Wishes he could go on the road, have a legitimate excuse to hit the road every weekend. But now he's going to hang out with his wife and kids, and he hates it. But he's still going to find a way to go on the road. "Oh, yeah, I got to go to Florida. I got to buy, a beach cruiser, babe. I'm just flying down there for the weekend. I'm so not getting addies and baddies. No, just getting a beach cruiser, B. I got to post some content on a channel in 6 months. My Drive Fast No Gas channel." He drops like no videos on that channel. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.